Coming up in this week's episode, Arkansas sues Temu. A recent survey showed most people think AI is conscious. And we're in the future. Are you interested in purchasing an exoskeleton with built-in AI? And then we'll wrap up with our null, not null recommendation section. Also, make sure to stick around till the end for our weekly AI-generated themed outro song.
Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice. But here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Bobby Davis, Paul Bratzlavsky, and Sarah Kimmel.
All right, so in Arkansas, the Attorney General of Arkansas, Griffin, has announced that he is suing the Chinese e-commerce company Temu.
I always called it Temu until they
know.
had a Super Bowl commercial and they said it was Temu. So
I know, but doesn't the song thing, does it go like Temu?
I don't think they know who they're called. I think it's Smoke and Mirrors.
It is. We don't know who we are.
Exactly.
But yeah, so they're suing for violations of the Arkansas Deceptive Trade Practices Act and the Arkansas Personal Information Protection Act. And so he issued the following statement. Temu, Toboggan, whatever, is not an online marketplace like Amazon or Walmart. It is a data theft business that sells goods online as a means to an end. Today, I have filed the first of its kind state lawsuit against the parent company of Temu, PDD Holdings and Whale Co. Inc. for violating those two acts I just mentioned. Though it is known as an e-commerce platform, the platform is functionally malware and spyware. It is purposefully designed to gain unrestricted access to a user's phone operating system. It can override data privacy settings on users' devices, and it monetizes this unauthorized collection of data. So this is the first of its kind lawsuit to sue this company, at least. What are your guys' thoughts? Have you ever purchased anything from the platform? And
let's just call them Temu.
I'm like, I don't even know. Yeah, whatever. Have you ever purchased anything from Temu? Would you ever purchase anything from Temu? And what do you think of this lawsuit?
I'm still waiting for my salt lamps to be delivered from 6 months ago.
Did you buy something?
My wife did. She said, I bought this from Temu and it hasn't come yet. What should I do? Cancel it. Go. It's not coming.
Try and get your money back if you can.
It's not coming.
I have a feeling here Paul's bought something from Temu. This is just a total...
Weirdly, no, I have not, because with a name like that, are you kidding me? How can you take it seriously? Temu. Sounds like, something. Yeah, no. AliExpress, I would probably buy stuff from there before buying it here.
It's the same company, I think. But
Jesus Christ, I guess I did buy indirectly stuff from Temu.
Well, I think there's a bunch of these, right? I don't think they're the same company. I think AliExpress and Shine, which is another one, and Wish.com, they're all kind of the same thing, right? They're all these Chinese-owned mega corporations that drop ship stuff to the US, apparently at a loss. I've bought something from Wish.com before. I've never bought from Temu before. But Wish.com is exactly the same process. You order something, it takes months and months and months if you ever get it. It took months and months and months for me. But here's the allure and why you want to buy from this is because it is ridiculously cheap stuff at generally I would say the stuff that I ordered is probably 80 to 90% the quality of the original. That's the crazy thing. So what I bought, I'll tell you what I bought. I bought watch bands for my Apple Watch. And they were $1 something each. Bearing in mind, you go to the Apple store, these are $30, $40, $50 items, right? They're expensive. And the ones that I bought, I own original ones too. They are 90% as good as the original, but they are clearly 10% of the cost.
Sure.
If that. I mean, less than 10%. It's like 5%. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's the allure, right? Cheap items. I saw somebody report that, they lost like $4 billion in 2023 is what they're reporting. That's what Temu lost in 2023. They lose an average of like $30 per order or something was the guess.
Yeah.
So
what did they gain in personal information?
Exactly.
Yeah,
why would you operate? Exactly. Why would you operate at $30 off on an average order Why would you do that? Because shipping is free, by the way. I ordered like 10 watch bands. It cost me like $20 with free shipping. That's insanity. Like, I'm thinking like these things are never going to show up, right? No, they showed up.
This is
and they're not as bad as I thought they were going to be.
State-sponsored company.
Yeah.
I've
never ordered anything.
What I will give them credit for, finally, the U.S. government or state government, whatever, sues some Chinese company and they tell us why they're doing it.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was going to go into next, is because if we had this kind of information on TikTok, you better believe you would see it. You would have gotten it, because I read through the actual filing, and like the stuff in the filing is shocking. Like, shocking. Multiple reports and forensic reviews. Some researchers labeled Temu app as the most dangerous malware spyware package currently in widespread circulation.
Yeah. It collects everything. I saw some of the security research on it. It collects everything down to not just like location data. It collects precise location data, which if you know anything about your phone, there's two sets of location data, right? There's an approximation, which puts you in a ballpark, and there is precision, which puts you down to within feet.
Right.
They're collecting the precision within feet data of you on your phone. Exactly. That's the really scary, letting somebody have your information data. Yeah. But if they got pulled, so Temu, the app got pulled from the App Store in like 2023. And they supposedly fixed whatever they were supposed to fix, which, by the way, the only thing they fixed were the disclosure, what they were collecting. They didn't change what they were collecting. They just changed the disclosure that, oh, yeah, we're collecting this amount of extra data too. I looked at it on the App Store today. If you look at what it says it's collecting, it checks every single box. It's every single thing. It's personal data, location data, shopping data. It's everything that you have on your phone. Images. You're letting them have access to everything when you put that app on your phone.
Yeah.
Everything.
I mean, and they were talking about like sensitive PII, personal identifiable informational. So, I can't find it off the top of my head, but like some of the information they were gathering, I was like, what? That is crazy.
So what I think that we need to start doing as a U.S. government is we need to start pushing back. So there's a lot of things like on the stock exchange where they're letting Chinese companies list on the NASDAQ, and
they are, by the way,
without having any kind of disclosures whatsoever. They don't have to show do they make money or anything like that. So an investor buys from a Chinese company and you have no idea if they're actually drilling for oil or actually doing these things. And for some reason, we feel like we need to do this. And I think we need to push back and go, you know what? We really don't need Temu. I mean, like, fine, just cut it off. I would cut this off after this.
Good luck.
Yeah. But for whatever reason,
it's never gonna happen.
We won't do
it.
We
won't. Because here's why. If you go look at Temu,
right?
Exactly. This is going to be terrible for me because now I'm going to get every kind of thing on the planet.
You've just been hacked.
I've not been hacked, but here's the deal. These ads will follow you around they will follow you around like crazy once you've been to the website. So I should have probably used incognito mode. I didn't think about that. Yeah. But anyway, if you go here and you're looking for, let's say that you are looking for,
bike
Apple
headlamp,
Watch.
A bike light for a front.
Hold on. I know this one's here. Like Apple Watch straps, look. They have the ones, if you look for the ones that are like this one, look, almost like the poster child of the Apple Watch. Right? You buy this, $100 strap. But it's $1.97.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? It's like getting Americans off this is gonna be impossible. This is like crack.
It's like take my data. I just want to buy the strap for $1.97.
I guarantee you some people understand that isn't even a thing, and are they willing to give that up? I think they're willing to give up their data to buy the thing for $1.97, and they understand that. Yeah. That's why it's all disclosed, right? That's why they're not. It's like that's why it's on the Apple Store with the disclosures. People are like, well, okay, but I can get my band for less than $5. And yeah.
I had a friend once, like, and this was like a year or two ago, post something on Facebook, like, "Oh, I just got this on Temu," and I was like, don't ever." Like, I'm like, if you installed that app, uninstall it right away. Like, but nobody cared about my comment. Like,
no.
I can tell you that from a reputable headlight for one of those Canon lights, which is you have to put them on now because if you're out on the roads, it's like requirement in some states.
Yep.
They're well over $200.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, $6. Here you go.
$6, Bobby.
Like,
get on it.
Not going to do it.
Damn it. Why'd you guys share this website with me now?
I don't know the battery life. I don't know anything about it. I know it won't be good. So
here's the issue. Yeah, electronics I think are a slightly different thing from something like this because you can buy. By the way, if you just go for an Apple Watch, let's say, for instance, you can buy a watch that is a 1.85 inch touchscreen watch, right? So it's clearly not an Apple Watch, but I guarantee you this runs on some kind of Android OS or something that's been like customized to look like iOS, right? But we're talking $17, like
$17.49. Get it right.
That's nuts, right? And you can actually pay in weekly installments, too, by the way. These are hooked up with all the creditors.
On $17.
Temu's super shady too. PDD Holdings, they are publicly traded, and you can look at them. Their stock's done quite well. But they are super shady in terms of, they are smoke and mirrors. Yeah. They are like, so Temu was like incorporated in like Boston, I think it was, yet they have no actual entity in Boston.
Of course.
It's actually, there's this Whale Co. company who's out of Ireland somewhere. And I saw a thing where a reporter went and knocked on the door, and like, there's nobody there from that company.
And see, to get listed as a U.S. company on the stock exchange, you have to go through all these disclosures, and a lot of these Chinese companies don't have to do that for whatever reason.
That's so crazy.
It's not right.
That is so crazy.
So you definitely shouldn't buy the stocks.
Definitely subsidizing shady. Their product with illegal black market data trading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and illegal items, by the way, too. You can buy, if you wanted, like, I don't know, like, if you wanted, like, easy... Oh, here you go. Slides are a big one, right? They're pretty popular with kids at the minute. If you look at slides, right? If we do... guess what the first one that comes up is? An absolute rip-off of an Adidas Yeezy slide, right? Sure. For $5. So not only is it, like, other items, it's basically, like, you know,
anything that
counterfeit merchandise too.
Here's what's for sure, Kevin. You don't have kids. You cannot buy the knockoff slides. It doesn't matter how cheap they are. They won't wear them.
Depends.
If it doesn't have Oakley or Nike or something like that, just forget about it. You know.
It's done.
Some of these, though, I will say, some of these do have that. They ship legitimate knockoff items. Like I'm talking about, like fully branded. Everything.
Louis
the original
Vuitton.
Retail box,
Prado.
The receipt.
That's hilarious. They want to start shopping here.
Gucci slides.
Look at my Gucci slides,
man. I'm telling
next week.
This is exactly what they look like. It's like a complete.
I'm gonna be all Gucci'd out next episode for $17.48.
Yeah.
Here's what makes me feel positively about TikTok too. Like we don't have this kind of details in a lawsuit filing on TikTok. They're just like, be scared of it because it's from China.
Right.
But TikTok is also refusing to do these little workarounds that make the United States just go, all right, that's cool. Like, you know, having some weird, like you said, Boston or something. Like, you know, there's really not an entity there. And really, if TikTok would just do that, the United States would probably be like, okay, cool. But they're not doing that. So they're not trying to like skirt the system where they absolutely could. There's like, hey, no, this is our company. We're not divesting or anything like that. Like, if you don't want us, fine, kick us out. But
the other thing I don't like about this, if you ran this in the U.S. on a Shopify site or whatever, the Better Business Bureau would be all over your case every single day.
Oh, yeah.
There'd be like reviews on this thing up and down. I mean, you wouldn't be able to operate.
No.
100%.
But for some reason, Temu can do it. And they don't ship everything. I don't think it's, maybe they have, I don't know what their rates are, but like, I'm still waiting for my salt lamp. I'm just saying, it's not coming.
You may get it. This is the downside because it does ship on a boat always. Right. There's no air freight from China. They're shipping it in these, you know, in massive containers where it's like super cheap because ultimately they're shipping it to you for free. Right.
They're probably, you know, taking advantage of like put it with the cocaine traffic and everything else. It's like the armed dealers, like they're all in it together so they could save some money.
For
free shipment.
Allegedly. Just to point out, I'm not saying that.
Allegedly,
That's not what I'm saying.
Fentanyl shipments.
Yeah. It's like, how do you get that deal up? You just put on top of this other stuff.
Yeah. That was Paul's idea, everybody.
I love China. China number one.
Because they have our exact location now because Kevin went to the website. So.
I know.
Yep. They're coming for you.
So who here believes AI is conscious or has the capacity to be conscious? Any one of you guys?
No.
The more I use it, the more frustrated I get how dumb it is sometimes.
Well, here's the thing then. You guys are in the minority here because a recent study by a professor of psychology and a neuroscientist found this was the conclusion of the study, that 2/3 of the people surveyed believed that ChatGPT, which is the example that they used in this, is conscious and that it can have feelings and memories. And the more a person used ChatGPT, the more likely they were to attribute consciousness to it. So the heavier the use, the more likely you were to say that you felt like it was conscious. Here's a few caveats to this. You've got to read past the headline in this, because this is where the caveats come in. This was a study of 300 people, so small sample size. General public adults in the US that they got a cross sample of. It's multi-age, multi-gender sample. So of general public people. Is US only. And it makes me wonder, when you have a sample size that small, how honestly people answer those questions. So it skews one way or another. The other thing is, the conclusion that they came to was, basically what they said was, anybody that they gave you a scale of 0 to 100 to answer these questions. Okay, so you were asked whether you thought that ChatGPT was conscious on a scale of never ever is it conscious 0 to yes, it's a full human conscious 100. So anybody that answered above a 0, they counted in that 2/3.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is,
Skewed.
1/3 said no way. 2/3 said, well, maybe 1% we think it's conscious.
Sure.
So the summary of the article feels a little bit like clickbaity to me. I don't think it's really that 2/3 of people surveyed believed that it was conscious. That doesn't ring true to me. It was a very small number that were at the very, very end that said, yeah, it's human-like, it's conscious.
But yet they start with, survey shows most people think LLM.
Exactly.
Such as ChatGPT
Because it was
can
more
experience.
than 0.
I was about to say, maybe it's anybody who has an AI girlfriend, probably,
Probably thinks it's
falling
conscious.
a bit in love. I
She
can see
loves
how
me.
that happens. I
She
tested
totally
out the
loves me, it's fine.
applications. I started getting, upset.
Just to ground this too, the vast majority of AI experts do not believe that AI is conscious.
Any of them.
And there are a few outliers, but I also think they're in it for the clickbait.
Yeah.
I think they're trolls.
Yeah, they're
I think they're in
trolls.
it for some other reason, either to troll or for money or for something, right? Because isn't that the only reason to claim that at this point? Do any of you guys think that we're ever going to get there on this consciousness scale? I know Bobby doesn't.
Never.
One day, 200 years from now, 300 years, who knows? Down the road.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I want to live in the
You'll be
Matrix.
dead.
but
It doesn't
I know
matter
I'll be
then.
dead. I'm never going to see it. But my wishful thinking, come on, Matrix, happen, but it's not going to happen. Sorry. Everybody.
But don't you think it's impressive though that 2/3 of the 300 people so that's 200 people, right, believe that it had at least conveyed the feeling of some kind of consciousness? Is the trick just really, really good?
Yeah, a lot of people think David Copperfield actually made the Statue of Liberty disappear.
Wrestling is
Put it
also
back.
real.
Put it
I
back.
mean,
I'm gonna get so much hate for that. I love wrestling. I watch it all the time. Go Hulk Hogan. My favorite back in the day, because I'm young. I was born in the 80s, so I'm just
Roddy
context over there.
Piper, I remember him.
Yeah. I think it just shows how crazy the hype is, that most people don't see the reality of where AI is, but they just see what the hype is, and they base their feelings and opinions based on the hype.
But it was the more that they used it,
Yeah.
the more that they used it, the more conscious they thought it was. So it has this correlation of usage versus
I don't
your
buy
feelings
it.
about it.
I used it way too much, and I'm just this is Jesus Christ.
I'm with you. I feel that feels like
It's the
to
opposite.
me, it feels like it goes the other
Yeah,
way.
definitely
Yeah. It
goes
feels
the other
less
way, yeah.
like it's conscious the more I use it, because I'm like, well, that was dumb.
I can tell you, I've
Why
been
did it do
using
that?
GitHub Copilot pretty much regularly every day for the last 6 months. And I started teaching our latest cohort 4 weeks ago, and I turned it off because I didn't want it in the way while I was teaching. And what I've come to the conclusion is I don't miss it whatsoever. I don't miss it whatsoever. The completions were kind of good. Sometimes it's bad. It just works better it is. It's clean.
Listen, ChatGPT
I may be in the
didn't wish me
minority of
happy
that.
birthday.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
That's it.
I think the whole study really shows, at the root of it, that most people don't understand what ChatGPT is. And I think that is a large number of the population that just don't understand what ChatGPT is and does. So they see that it's a language model. I mean, they don't see that it's a language model. And they just think it's coming up with these like words. No, it's like putting words together that it thinks is going to answer the question. It's not like responding to your question. And so like, that's where I think a lot of people are getting like hung up, is they're just like, oh, you know, it's talking to me. It's responding to me. No, it's like just programmed to find words that like match what you're saying.
Yeah. We had the guy, don't forget, from Google who a year or so ago now, maybe 18 months ago or something, that quit because he thought like Google was mistreating the AI because he thought he was conscious.
Did you see that guy? He just wanted some attention. He wanted friends and attention, not judging.
So I just want to highlight this other comment too that we had on one of our previous videos.
Makes sense.
In answer to your point about using, this is somebody else's opinion, and this is why I don't believe this. Sorry for calling this out, but it says it's really great for programming. I'm at least 10 times more productive in that regard. Talking about AI, would you guys are both programmers, right?
Bull
would
crap.
you say 10 times more productive
10
using
times.
Let me
times.
tell you this. I will spend chat, whatever the hell you want to call it, for 2 hours trying to get it to do the goddamn thing that I kind of already knew how to do. And then I just like go back and I just do the thing that I was going to do originally and have to throw those 2 hours away. Like, I think it has the benefits from like learning purposes and exploring things and using it as a rubber ducky, but it doesn't make you more productive if you know how to do the thing already. It just doesn't. That's why.
But you have to know how to do the thing in order to know that the answer it gives you is even correct in the first place. That's the problem.
I like George's comment after that, like just basically saying this is not anything impressive. This is just something that whatever. It's
the thing that I would say about Copilot is it is a code completion tool. It's not an AI code generation tool. It will complete lines of code that you're working on, and it varies if it's good or not. And so what you're doing is you're looking at what I call the ghost text coming up, and you evaluate it in like a nanosecond. Do I want that or not? And you're saying, do I hit tab or not?
Right.
And then what I've realized, like more times than a night, I'm not hitting tab. I'm hitting escape, and it's slowing me down because it's like quit. And you hear me yelling at, come on, GTP, tell me something good, quit. And so I just turn it off.
The worst part is when you start typing and it gives you like this whole paragraph of stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I was literally going to do one line. Like, what are you doing? And then you're trying to like kind of cancel it. You hit tab by accident. And it's like, whoosh, and you're like, oh,
but here's the difference.
My code. Delete,
the difference is you understand how that it should work. That's the difference.
Right.
So somebody who doesn't know how it should work, they're going to take that and be like, oh, cool, that's what it's supposed to do. Amazing. I saw there was a great example of when the guy debunked, what was it, Devon.
Yeah.
And Devon had written that code that it fixed itself, right? It wrote bad code, fixed it, and then claimed, hey, I fixed this code. Yeah, you wrote bad code, dude. Like, you wrote it. You didn't fix somebody else's code. You wrote bad code. It was basically, it took like a one-line built-in function of Python and tried to basically create it itself. It was trying to parse a JSON file, which you can do with one line in Python. It didn't do that. It tried to basically rewrite its entire parser all on its own. And then it's like, but if you didn't understand that, you wouldn't know that that's not the way you're supposed to do it.
Here's my relationship with Copilot right now. Imagine you're watching television. You're trying to watch a movie, and your wife is trying to talk to you and tell you something important at the same time. Copilot is the one. I'm trying to do something here, and you're talking to me. So like, it's really hard. It's like, turn it off, quit. I need to do one or the other.
You mean turn off the TV, right?
Yes,
no, I'm coding.
You turn off.
Why?
You're just saying you turn off the TV.
No, there's only one option in that one. Turn the
Kelly,
TV
we're
off.
sorry. We're sorry, Kelly.
Turn the TV
turn the
off.
AI off. You have to turn it off.
Turn the TV off.
Or you turn the TV off. You can't do them both. And what I'm saying is it interrupts your logic flow. So you've got these things in your head you're trying to do. Yeah. And like Paul says, suddenly it inserts a paragraph of text and you're like scrolling. What did you just do? Like, quit, stop. Control Z.
I mean, if someone really thinks like ChatGPT is self-aware, just like I said this before, use it for a week to have it tell you exactly everything you need to do in your life and see where you end up. I'm not going to be responsible for it, but let me tell you, probably not going to be good. Like,
I would say do something out of your wheelhouse, like write a blog article if you're not a writer, and then show it to a real writer and say, hey, is this good or not?
So here's my frustration. So there's this thing that's popular with AI now. It's called like programmatic SEO, where it just spits out articles that are really silly and stupid, nonsensical, but they rank on Google. And so a lot of times now I search for something and I'm like, oh, I found the answer. And I look like 2 paragraphs in, I'm like, God darn it. It's AI generated garbage. And then it just eats so much of my time and I'm getting like frustrated with that. And so like
there's a new coin term for that, by the way, too. It is called AI slop.
Yes.
That is the new term for AI generated content that is written specifically for SEO, but has no kind of like
value.
Has no value or has no really good like human way of reading it, right? It's not made for human consumption. It's made to trick the search algorithm.
Yeah.
Well, this is something, I mean, we might be wandering slightly off topic on this one, but I know when you're like applying for jobs, if you change, like if you start AI descriptions of your position that matches the position they're looking for, then it gets higher up on the person who's hiring's list because you match more exactly. Like they're having AI look through all of these resumes. So the trick is you go into your resume and you change stuff so it matches what their job description is. And then you upload that resume to that company. You are like, oh, this person's like 100% match for you. You might want to contact them. So that's kind of ways they're like, kind of like with the SEO, they're just using words that the AI is going to recognize, and like whether or not it like makes sense or not is.
Well, then the person reads it and they turn it down. So I can remember we just did a job search. I got 40 resumes, and I'm telling you, I'm looking at them going, AI, no.
Yeah.
No. You know, and it's just like, because if it looks AI generated, I don't even want to read it. Like I'm looking for someone that wrote an actual sentence at the top of it.
That's the biggest issue. Also, everybody's doing auto-generated like resumes, which is don't do it. And what I started to be like, if I ever send a resume to a company, I'm gonna call or email to follow up, just to be like, hey, like even if they don't, even if they don't,
you'll be the only one.
Yeah, exactly. Even even if they're not gonna like you know see it or answer it, or maybe they might. But I think putting that extra human touch is the way to go right now. Make that human connection.
Be like, this guy's old school. He didn't use AI and he called.
Like, he called.
Right.
I saw a LinkedIn post. This guy was hiring for an outbound call professional. He says, I got 1,000 apps and one guy called me. He said, who do you think I hired? I'm hiring someone who makes outbound calls.
Exactly.
999 of them just sent me a resume. So
it's funny too, because like so many people looking to get hired, they just think sending out resumes is the way to go. And that's like the worst way to go, because you're competing with like a unlimited amount. And so I tell them like, don't send a resume, just show up.
Just call them.
Just call him. Just say hello. Like,
do you remember the show, The Bionic Man, or the $6 Million Man, Steve Austin? We all wanted to run 60 miles an hour. Now he had implants, bionics, but with Iron Man, now we've said the most famous Marvel movie ever is probably Iron Man. And there's have an exoskeleton. Now there's companies actually making these things. And this is the Dynasis Exo One Skeleton. It uses AI to predict your movement, so it helps you move faster and better. And it's in a Kickstarter. It is sold out. They completely maxed out their Kickstarter, which is kind of cool.
I saw, though, it did get added to Indiegogo,
like, holy
by the way.
Smokes,
now, what is weird about this, I will say the weird factor, if you watch the video, it's completely voiceovered for some reason. I don't know why. It just is. It looks weird. This isn't the voices these people are saying. But it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's because they're outside.
Chinese
Maybe they couldn't get good sound, but it's definitely what we in the business, it's AR, so this guy, that's not his voice when he talks. It sounds like an anime movie.
Oh, interesting.
So one thing I'm going to say, like, I get it. It's for hikers, but like for me, like who's trying to exercise and benefit from it, is this going to basically make me burn less calories because I'm doing less work?
So
go further, Paul.
They did a test for this, and the guy could bench or could squat 125 pounds. He did it in one day, and he did 25 reps. He came back the next day with the exoskeleton. He stopped at 172.
Wow.
And so like it does make you stronger. It's not going to make you, or at least this model, not superhuman, but that's where Lockheed Martin has something called Onyx. And that's the one that's going to be more probably a little bit to make someone run a lot faster.
I just don't agree with this ad, and I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but I just want it to be more appropriate. They're showing like the fittest people wearing.
So it enhances what you already have.
Yeah, I would think like my grandmother would need this. Makes more sense.
I do think there's some good research in this, and I do think that's what I would like to see is someone that is mostly immobile. This could maybe get them moving again. That would be kind of cool. Instead of a wheelchair, they can walk around. If you've had like a really terrible knee injury and you don't walk well anymore, this could help you maybe walk. And I do think this is the one time where I say, if AI can help you create a model that can make this machine move in the direction it needs to go. The Onyx says it moves in about 150 milliseconds. That's the delay, which is really, really quick.
Yeah.
So I think it's intriguing. Is it real? I don't know.
They're missing the market though with this because they're charging $1,200 or $1,300 for normal healthy people. The thing is,
it's not. It's like $700.
$700. If they make this a medical device for people in need,
10,000.
10,000 because that's how insurance works. Like I just recently had surgery. It was like insane because they know that part of your insurance is going to pay it, so we're going to charge it. So like if this was like a medical product company, they would meet their goal like super fast, and they would actually have a better demand because like this is kind of cool, but am I going to spend $700 on it? For me, no, but for my grandmother who needs to get up the stairs, I'll spend $1,500 if it helps her to improve her quality of life. So I think like all kidding aside, I think the product is cool and I hope that it does well, but I think they should market it towards people that actually would benefit from it rather than showing these healthy young kids in their, early 20s.
It can make you run faster, farther. So if you want to hike
the problem with that is that
miles, you might could. I mean, so,
You might could.
I think
Bobby's going to wear him for that ultra marathon.
That means that like however far you go, that's however far back you have to travel. You know what I mean? So like to me,
not if it's in a circle, Paul. Not if it's in a circle.
That's how I do it.
I did see a video of this actually in action. CNET had a video where they had one of the reporters was wearing it, and she ran up a hill without it in San Francisco, and she ran up a hill with it, and she was about 2 seconds quicker with it than without it. So it did work. It is a real thing. So the AI part of it, apparently the AI part of it is like real time AI. It's not like generative AI that we think of AI. The AI part here is more traditional. It predicts like the way that your muscles move, I guess, and it assists you in the right parts of the stride. So if it needs to assist you at the front when you pull back or at the back when you push forward or whatever it is, the AI knows exactly how this thing works. It's not like a set motor. Like these legs aren't like walking and you're stood in them, right? That's not what this is. It's an assistant. So it understands and assists you ever so slightly when you move in a certain direction. And there's levels of assist too. I noticed that. They have like 3 different levels or 4 different levels. You can turn it all the way up or you can turn it down so it just slightly assists you. I don't know what the use case is for that.
I think if you're working in a warehouse, man, and you're moving boxes every day, this would 100%. Be fantastic, man. I mean, if you
maybe Amazon gets these. Yeah.
I think that's some of the use case for Onyx. So you can look up ONYX exoskeleton. I forget the name of it, but it was built in South Florida, and now Lockheed Martin has purchased the rights to improve it. But it's the Onyx exoskeleton.
Yeah, they have like for military or for like workers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think this is like a cool thing because like I was about to mention, like this stuff's been around like where they've been exploring it in military use cases or like work use cases. And now that you have like a publicly available, like consumer grade exoskeleton, I think it's cool. I mean, I like the idea and I think it's very useful. And it has many, like ways you could use it. Especially
augmented anytime soon then, Paul? Is that what's happening here? This is like what is it, that the video game that you like?
Cyberpunk,
yeah. They're at Cyberpunk, they're wholly like different level. They're like Musk
this is level 1
brains.
Of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, this is like
this is close to RoboCop. I mean, like what we're doing, what they're looking at. Definitely you can see if you could give this to a military unit and they're on the ground and they could run 50 miles an hour, that's going to give you a benefit. Does it run out of batteries? Probably. So that's the other problem with it.
Yeah.
Imagine.
No, but 100%, like we're going to go into that future soldier exoskeleton Robocop soon.
My guess is these are at a point where we actually are using these right now. Being that there's a consumer product already,
that means that
my assumption is we're already using these.
Yeah.
When I was reading the article, like in my head, I was like, oh, so it's kind of similar to how the e-bike has changed like biking. You know, you ride your e-bike and it's like super easy because I'm like riding my e-bike. And then the article mentioned it too. And I was like, oh, see, I was on the right track.
That's
but
true.
it's a similar kind of thing. But for running, like, I hate riding a bike. Like, I do not like riding bikes, but I love running. So if it's something similar to the e-bike for running, like I could see how like people who are active might like, oh, hey, I might really enjoy going out for like a nice, really long run that's not going to like tax my whole system.
Yeah, I guess there's something to be said too for like hiking as well, right?
Yes.
Let's say that you're hiking too, and there's a really nice spot you want to go, you know, but you're not quite fit enough to get there. Maybe
Everest.
This might take you there. Well, Everest, of course, but I'm talking about like just a place, a local place or whatever that's like up the side of a mountain. But maybe you couldn't make it on your own. Maybe this gets you there, and you do get to see the view. I don't know. That's interesting.
The question I have with this. And this is like the first iteration, but as the technology gets better and you have the ability to modify yourself to be better, faster, do you think there's going to be an addiction similar to like plastic surgery where folks like, I need to get every possible advantage I have?
Yeah, I think so. But like, I do think it enhances what you have. So I think you still have to have muscles to move that thing. Yeah. So like at this point, whereas Iron Man is a true exoskeleton where you just get in and you're along for the ride. So these are attached to your muscles that move. So you'd still need to work out. And
I want to see the Augmented Olympics. Imagine that.
That's a Netflix movie right now. I don't know if you've seen that. Augments.
No, really? Yeah. Like imagine like where it's not just like a competitor from your country, but the technology also has to be from your country. That's kind of cool. I would watch that in a heartbeat. That would be amazing.
Yeah. In this movie, you signed up to be an augmented athlete, and they cut your legs off and give you bionics.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's not a good deal.
I'm not endorsing that. That's
not a good deal. Like, let me take my two good legs and, but it's kind of interesting because there was a movie in the 80s, I forgot what it's called, but basically countries would build these mechs, like mechanical, like robots to fight each other in like Antarctica or North Pole. And that would determine the winner. And I'm like, is that where the world is going?
Well, we have BattleBots. So.
BattleBots, yeah. It's but it's kind of cool. I think like from Neuralink and what they're doing and like this exoskeleton technology, like people that previously had disabilities, in a lifetime, we're going to get to a point where they're going to be able to walk, move their arms. Like the technology is going to be there, and I think it's like really awesome because it gives people opportunity that might be bed-bound to actually get some freedom and mobility back. So I think like, all kidding aside, definitely want to see more stuff like this and see progress. And
I'm more conscious of this now, right? Lately, because I cycle a lot now. I'm cycling like 4 days a week, trying to train for my race. And what I've noticed is I get passed a lot on e-bikes. And at first it made me mad. Like, man, get a real bike, they're not compatible, But I went.
That'll be me zooming past you.
So I was in I was in the bike store and I was looking at these e-bikes. I mean, these e-bikes are like $6,000-$7,000 expensive.
Yeah.
And I said, man, what is up with these e-bikes, man? These guys are passing me on the trail, like other stuff. And he goes, you know what? He said, we resisted selling them at first, but he said, we had a 65-year-old guy in here had a heart attack. And we sold him an e-bike, and for the first time, he could ride around these trails and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what I'm saying. It's about getting to the destination.
Yeah, it is. Not capable. I like that. And so he said, if you want to train or whatever and ride a bicycle race, ride a regular bike. But if you just want to
enjoy,
see something, but you couldn't do it otherwise, the e-bike's the way to go. And I think this is the same kind of thing. And I'm really, it changed my whole perspective about those types. They're not laughing at me. They're just riding their e-bike.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny because it's like it's the thing that's only in your head,
Right. Yeah, I'm the one racing. They're not racing.
They're like, I just want to go see this tree that I couldn't get to earlier because I wasn't able to. Funny.
Okay, time of the show to talk about recommendations and knows and our not knows. Paul, you got a null for this week.
First of all, $189, way too much money for this product. When I bought it, this had like almost 5-star reviews. So I think what happened, they bought it, it died, and then they gave crappy reviews. So every time I had audio problems or something wasn't working, or the stream when I was streaming with you earlier on was cutting out, I was trying to figure out, what is it? Is it my computer? And I couldn't figure out. It's this thing. It's this every problem I had. So every time I unplug things from it, and now like, the only thing I use it for is for my second monitor because it just has the thing. So nothing else, because nothing else works. I plug a mouse, I plug a thing, it like short circuited or whatever. Like if I plug a mic or audio that I have, remember that static you had when I recorded a stream, you couldn't use it? It's because of this stupid thing. And I'm like, you know what? This is not worth it. $189 spent, not worth it. Can't throw it out fast enough, but
Cal Digit's the only one to get, man.
I was going to tell you. I would tell you, Paul.
Yeah, send me the link.
It's the only one to get.
There is one answer to this. It is this dock, which is more expensive.
But that's the dock.
But this is the one. I've had this now for, I don't know, 2 years, something like that, 3 years. It has never failed me once.
And that's where quality, like you just might as well pay that extra dollars, because like $189 is not a big stretch for, like, it's like, do I want to pay $319 and have a quality product, or do I want to pay $189 and have it like die and me being like, oh, great.
Yep.
So a lot of times they'll have
May 23rd, 22.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll have dual HDMI monitors on it, but it's based on the host computer whether it can do it. This is different. This will drive the monitors, and so
wow,
it's good.
Yeah. That's impressive, actually.
So it's nice.
How much is it on Temu?
$12.96.
$1.97.
I guarantee you there's a Temu. Let's look up. Let's see if they have a Cal Digit dock. Hold on.
Sorry.
Let's see. Cal Digit dock. No.
There it is.
Oh, here we go. There it is.
$112. Interesting. That's
definitely the bootleg version
for Temu.
They were like, we couldn't go any lower. That's gotta mean like a lot when they're like, oh, this is as low as we could go.
I've not used this. I can guarantee you it doesn't drive multiple monitors.
Listen, I'm gonna take the loss. I'm gonna buy it, and if it does, it'll be hilarious. It's like
it will. I mean, you won't get it for 6 months, but
no, forget it. Then. Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah. That's
I would recommend this to anybody ever asks me what dock to get.
There's only one.
It's this one. I would never recommend another dock. I've tried other ones before. They've just not been good. Again, they've always had some kind of issue with them. Usually with screens. It's if you're running like multiple monitors on them. I have this. It runs MacBook, and then it runs the ultra wide that I have. And I've never had a problem with it ever. It loads every time, like it works every time, it turns on every time, everything comes to life every time. There's zero. I barely forget I've got it. Like I better remember that I've got it. Like it just works. Okay, this week's not know, Bobby. What you got?
I'm cycling, and so one of the things when you do long cycling drives, you have to eat while you're riding, or you will.
So you take like a burger or like
you can do that. You
stop by,
put it in the back pocket, and so. In order to do that, I have this super high carb hydration drink mix. So it has electrolytes plus 300 grams of carbohydrates.
Wow.
And you drink one bottle of this every hour. So if you're in a 4-hour ride, you're drinking up to 4 bottles of this. And it works. It doesn't make you sick. You don't feel bloated. Whereas if you're riding really hard and you're really tired, trying to chomp down a Cliff Bar while you're out of breath is kind of hard to do.
So
and it's probably refreshing too because it's liquid, like
Yeah. And so it works really well. I was skeptical when I did it, but I've been using it for like a month now, over like 6 to 8 rides. And where the other guys are slowing down, once we get up to 30 or 40 miles, then I'm like still going because I'm not starving to death like you can when you're riding. So
nice.
Scratch Labs.
Just take your bike to the drive-through.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Hey, just get a little burger in your pocket. You're like, let me get some of this.
Have laps around the Chick-fil-A. That's what you do.
Smart, genius.
Exactly. That just seems right.
Genius. And then
I guess if you're on a trail, though,
every like 20 laps,
Yeah. But I guess if you're on a trail, this works too.
Yeah, it works too.
I guess. Sure. Okay, well, that's it for this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast. A couple of things I could ask you to do, if you would not mind. Leave us a rating and a review somewhere, wherever you listen to this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. and subscribe to get notifications when we publish new episodes. And you can also drop us an email. Where can you drop us an email to, Sarah?
The Not Null Podcast at AOL.com. We've got mail.
That's it. We've got mail. We also have the option now to text us. There is a link. There is a link where you can actually text us, and we will get the text. We can't answer the text back. I did notice that's kind of a weird thing, but it does.
We can just get them.
We can just get them. So if you want to send us a text, send us a text. Yeah. So the link is down there. If you open it up, if you're on your phone, click the little link down below, drop us a message, and we'll see the message, and maybe we'll read some out if you do that.
And you can always leave your digits, and we'll text you back. So
yeah.
That's true. We could do that too.
But then we have text from like our real phone numbers.
I was going to say that's an interesting system. It's almost the system me and my ex had.
Right, exactly.
I've been sending all these texts.
You don't answer.
What's going on? It's not her. It's the system she had. That's what it was. I feel good now. That's what it was. That's she had.
And on that note, we'll see everybody next week.
In the heart of Arkansas, there's a story to be told about a company named Temu and the secrets they hold. Promises of bargains, deals from afar, but behind the shiny curtains, there's a darker scar. Temu, 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 you're sticky like glue. They say they sold the deals, but at what cost? Illegally taken data, privacy lost. Attorney General Griffin stands for the truth, protecting Arkansans, the old and the youth. Temu, 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 you're sticky like glue. From the fields to the city lights, we stand together, ready to fight. No more deceit, no more pain. Arkansas will rise again. Temu, 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 you're sticky like glue. You're sticky like glue. From the fields to the city lights, we stand together, ready to fight. No more deceit, no more pain. Arkansas will rise.